Good morning, guests and family of Rotary. The last 2 days have been quite Herculean information for all the incoming governors and all the delegates here. After the last session, I thought I'll just share you a small information. When we were running our business, it was on the sea coast and very close to a small village. As part of our social responsibility, we constructed toilets and said the villagers to use them because they were in the process of open defecation. And surprisingly, after 2 days, these toilet blocks were converted into storage godowns. Now, this is where adult literacy comes into force, because we find that unless the adults are literate, the combining programs of WINS and it's a complementary program of all put together. Friends, let me tell you that we are happy to take this adult literacy forward, and you will find that yesterday our President-elect made a remark that don't be happy with the 74% of the literates in your country, but look at the balance 26%. Now, friends, if you give a patient hearing, the balance 26%, the percentage, it amounts to 287 million people. Now, what are we talking about? We are talking about 287 million adult illiterates, which is the largest in the world. Now, these are the people that we need to address. I request all the Rotarians here who have assembled that to please play a major role in setting up adult literacy centers in your districts. And yesterday I was with Seshu Kumar, our Joint Secretary from Ministry of HRD, who also happens to be my schoolmate. We went to the same school. He was 1 year senior to me, and we were in the same room. And he was telling me that 91% of the illiterates in India are adult illiterates. So the figures are mind-boggling. Friends, can we have the presentation? Adult literacy in India. Kerala tops with about 93% of literacy, and Bihar is about 63%. Our aim is to educate adult non-literates in urban and rural areas, provide opportunities for continuing education, and also, like what our minister was saying yesterday, to impart skill development training. These are the main objectives that I request the Rotarians to keep in mind. And what are the schemes available? We find that we have a menu of schemes. The government concentrates in the rural areas. So our understanding with the ministry is that we concentrate in the urban slums and bastis, wherein the statistics are really not available with the government as to how many illiterate people are in the urban slums. With emphasis, of course, on working women, adolescent girls, mothers, and homemakers. This imparting basic literacy is via a lot of schemes like we require qualified volunteers, and we have a lot of primers which are being given by the government, by the Ministry of HRD in vernacular languages. We also have e-learning modules wherein we have one of the panelists from TCS who was the founder. The TCS e-model for adult literacy is very, very user-friendly. That can be used. We are ready to support it from RILM. And we require for all these schemes to take them forward, the participation of Rotarians and their spouses, inner wheel members, Rotractors and Intractors, and RCC, Rotary Community Corps. Friends, please look at this slide for some time, and I'm sure all of you can play a major role in interacting with these people and setting up adult literacy centers. We need to encourage Rotarians and their family members to impart literacy first to all their domestic and office staff. I think there's a saying that we should lead by example and start from our home. I think if we look around and see whether our driver or whether our office boy or whether our maid is literate or not, and if we start from there, I think that's a good enough start for many of our Rotarians. We also need to provide opportunities for continuing education, for creating community libraries, and just for fun, if somebody has really become literate, and if he feels that he is literate, we try to arrange some quiz for questions and answers and make them proud and give them some prizes and motivate them so that they become very happy. Friends, the vocational training is a very, very important factor. Like yesterday, our minister gave a very shocking figure that only 2% of our population is skilled. I think this is a very, very major area that we need to concentrate upon. We need to consult the National Skill Development Corporation, the Government of India Enterprise. Your local contacts will play a major part, and this vocational training and skill upgradation really helps somebody to become an adult literate. We concentrate on unemployed adult neo-literates and, of course, literate adults who are doing low-skilled jobs. The adult literacy program, though might not be a priority for many of the districts which we have found, all the Rotarians seem to be happy doing happy schools or trying to do some teacher support or teacher training. But let me tell you, friends, that if the adult literacy is not taken up seriously, the continuous percentage of adult illiterates in India, that percentage will never go down. So you need to concentrate on adult literacy centers to bring down the percentage of adult illiteracy or total illiteracy in India. These are some of the clubs which have taken up adult literacy centers for your viewing, so that, by the next summit, this chart should be full, and we require more and more adult literacy centers. And the partnership for the adult literacy program is, of course, like I mentioned about the TCS software that we are using in 9 vernacular languages. And the second one is being part of our industry. I'm a committee member of the National Center for Sustainable Aquaculture, which comes under the Ministry of Commerce. And we have a long coastline wherein we found that all these farmers, about 40% of them are illiterate, and I have entered into an agreement with them on behalf of RILM, and the courses, the first batch starts from April, and by the next summit, I assure you, from our Rotary Club of Kakinada, there will be about 4,000 uneducated, illiterate people who will become literates. 4,000. That is, I am trying to do it alone. So I am sure all of you can take it up with much more vigor. The state resource centers have been directed, thanks to the Ministry of HRD, to support the Rotary. And if you visit any of your local state resource centers, there is a GO from the Government of India, from the Ministry of HRD, to support the local Rotary Club and work in tandem with them. We thank the government, we thank the government representative here who has made this possible. as far as RILM support, our goal is to make 100,000 adult illiterates literates. I'm sure Mr. Seshu Kumar has other mind-boggling figures with him of his goals, but we'll be a part of it. And let me tell you, friends, one more, that RILM support will be for every volunteers, for all the volunteers at about 250 rupees per volunteer who conducts the classes, and also who have taken up the exam and he has cleared the exam conducted by the government. Every year, the government conducts the exams in March and August, so they need to clear the exam, and we pay the volunteers for 250 rupees for every illiterate being converted into literate. And we also support for some of the money, about 40 rupees for primers if they need to be copied or printed. So friends, this is about adult illiteracy or literacy scenario in the country. I think we need to really work very fast because we depend upon the government parameters of 3 Rs, wherein an adult illiterate becomes a literate only on 3 R basis: reading, writing, and arithmetic. And the 3 Rs have some parameters which can be seen in the manuals which have been given to you, the literacy manuals. I don't want to go into the specifications. We have other speakers. But please refer to the pages of your RILM manual, for the literacy manual, from pages 93 onwards for any support from RILM. I thank our session chair Ashok Mahajan for giving me this opportunity, and also the senior leadership for having imposed the faith that I can take this movement forward for the next 2-3 years. Thank you very much.